I stand on my 2 feet. I'm in my proper person. I am sovereign. I am man. The flesh lives. The blood flows. I challenge the jurisdiction. And if jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this case.
That would be denied.
Along with the officer and sergeant who are already going to be getting sued. There's no need to add you as well.
Any threats to sue me or to take any action against me, I can't be swayed by that. So
it's not a threat. It's just.
All right, folks, buckle up because we got a full-on sovereign citizen meltdown to unpack. And it's a wild one. From the moment he steps up, he's spouting off lines like, I stand on my 2 feet. I am sovereign. I am man. The flesh lives. The blood flows. Okay, sure. Congrats on being alive. But that doesn't magically wipe away a pile of traffic violations. His entire defense seems to rest on that kind of bizarre, pseudo-legal nonsense.
Please. His rights at arraignment.
My honor. So, for the record, I've made this special visitation under duress pertaining to the matters of Jonathan Troy, Faifu Leaso Maliatoa Schuster. For I am beneficiary, I am sovereign, I am man. The flesh lives, the blood flows. I am a non-U.S. citizen, American national. I am sui juris in propria persona. I reserve all rights. I do not understand the status. And so I ask you, ma'am, what is your name? What is your nationality? And what is your status?
I'm Judge Grant. I am a citizen and I'm the judge in this court. You are here subject to appropriate jurisdiction. So you are here for an arraignment. You've been charged with a crime. Today, you will be asked to enter a plea.
Ma'am, I object because a citizen cannot sit a bench, ma'am.
So I'm going to go through the information. It looks like you have been charged with driving with a suspended license, driving without a required ignition interlock device, refusal to comply, not having proper registration on the vehicle, expired over 2 months. And then there was also a driving violation. Wheels were off the roadway. Last two are infractions. So,
ma'am, jurisdiction cannot be proven unless status is established. You have not established status. And so if you cannot do that, I challenge the jurisdiction. And if jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this case with prejudice.
That would be denied. So I am going to, at this time, review for probable cause.
Object. Again, I challenge the jurisdiction, and jurisdiction must be proven.
It's not going to happen today.
Jurisdiction must be proven.
To hear the charges, and I will be reviewing for probable cause, and then we'll make a determination as to whether or not you will remain in custody. And I will hear from the prosecutor as to that.
And if you violate my rights even further, ma'am, as well as the officer and the sergeant that violated my rights, who are also going to be getting sued, it would just add to that. And I don't think that you need to go that route.
While I review this incident report. All right, I do find probable cause with the charges. I will be entering not guilty, please.
Ma'am, you cannot practice law from the bench. I object.
Noted.
You cannot enter a plea.
He keeps hammering on the word jurisdiction like a broken record, refusing to let it go. And here's the kicker. He actually threatens to sue the judge if she doesn't throw out his case. In his mind, that's a power move. But in reality, it's just about the fastest way to make an already bad court day even worse. The judge...
with prejudice, based on the grounds that you cannot prove jurisdiction.
All right, I've reviewed this. You were driving in the city of Lake Forest Park. You were violating
again.
laws.
I was not driving. Again, I have rights.
You were behind.
My rights were violated. My rights were violated. My right to travel freely unencumbered was violated. There was no emergency in which the officer needed to put on his red and blue lights. And so, again, if status cannot be set, jurisdiction cannot be proven, I move to dismiss this matter with prejudice.
That's denied. So you've made your record. Right now, I'm going to directly appoint counsel from the bench. Ms. McDonald.
Again, I am sui juris in propria persona. I stand on my 2 feet. I'm in my proper person. And so I reserve all my rights.
I understand that, and I've acknowledged that. I'm not dismissing your case today. I'm going to hear from Ms. McDonald as to the city's position on release.
Yes, Your Honor, I am going to be asking that the bail remain the same. It looks like it's currently set at $2,000. I do have some concern regarding his willingness and ability to reappear if he was released on his own recognizance, as well as concerned about community safety and risk of reoffending, given his temperament in the court today.
And Your Honor, Mr. Schuster would ask the court to release him on his own recognizance. These are not violent offenses. I don't see that he has any convictions for violent offenses. There was an assault from 2021 that was dismissed. He may have a view of the law that is different than the city's, but that in itself does not indicate that he won't come to court or that he would in any way try to subvert court proceedings. So we'd ask the court to release him on standard conditions.
Well, the court can consider whether or not Mr. Schuster is likely to reappear for future court hearings. What I hear from him today is that he completely objects to this court having any jurisdiction. I don't have a good faith.
Cool and composed, doesn't take the bait. She calmly reminds him that he's in court because he's been charged with driving on a suspended license, ignoring an ignition interlock requirement, cruising around with expired registration, and even doing a bit of off-roading on a public highway. In other words, not exactly, I'm a free man traveling territory. But our self-proclaimed sovereign just doubles down, repeating, "You haven't proven jurisdiction. You haven't established."
I do see that he has a prior conviction for DUI. He's on a deferred prosecution at this time in Seattle Municipal Court. He's not complying with conditions if he's driving without a license and driving without a required ignition interlock device. Also, indication that Mr. Schuster will not abide the court's orders to appear on his promise. Want to look at the Seattle municipal case and see when he's next scheduled to appear.
Like you had mentioned too, in 2021, same situation, or not same situation, a situation occurred in which they tried to charge me. They didn't have jurisdiction. It was dismissed. And again, I don't want any charges against me because I do have the deferral, which would obviously violate that deferral. And
sitting there in jail stripes and handcuffs. The irony is almost too perfect. He's loudly declaring, "You don't have authority over me," while the court quite literally has him in custody. You'd think that might be a wake-up call, but not for this guy. He launches into a speech about his violated rights.
So I will make any visitations, special visitations to the court to handle any matters pertaining to Jonathan Troy Faifale Malietoa Schuster. I'm a man, I'm free, and I want it to stay that way.
I do see it looks like he's got at least 3 prior warrants. He has 2 priors out of Benton County, 1 out of Lower Kittitas. The previous warrants history.
And throughout this process of going to courts, I've had to learn a lot. And so I know it's no game to just not show and make visitations. That's not what I want to do. And again, jurisdiction does need to be proven, whether it's today or another date. And if you want to violate my rights even further by not releasing me on my own recognizance, ma'am, was it Jennifer Grant? Then, like I had mentioned earlier, you, along with the officer and sergeant, who are already going to be getting sued, I mean, there's no need to add you as well, especially when you know the law.
I
don't see another date set until February 12th of 2025 in the Seattle
Municipal Court.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Schuster, I have to do what I believe is appropriate in this case, and that is to set bail, and any threats to sue me or to take any action against me, I can't be swayed by that.
Claims he's a non-citizen American national and warns that if the judge doesn't release him, she'll be added to his lawsuit. At this point, I half expected the judge to drop her gavel and say, "Sir, the only thing you're adding is more trouble for yourself." But she keeps her composure, calmly finds probable cause, enters a not guilty plea on his behalf. And
My rights are going to be furthermore violated.
$2,000. I do not believe that you will respond to the court's order to come back. I do base that upon the conduct in this case, as well as the prior FTA history. So bail will be $2,000. If you're able to post bail, you are to return for your next court date. You are to have no criminal law violations. You're not to drive unless you have a valid license and insurance. And
When are you setting that court date, Miss?
Required by the Department of Licensing. You are, you will be represented because I'm going to assign counsel.
I am sui juris in propria persona. I present myself. I don't need to be represented by anybody. I stand on my own 2 feet.
These are criminal charges that have significant consequences for you. So it's in your best interest to have counsel.
Again, I
assist
stand
you.
on my own 2 feet. I do not need to be represented by anybody. I present myself, sui juris in propria persona.
If you want to be your own counsel, you'll have to go through a full colloquy and waive all your rights to have representation. It's your constitutional right.
I
So if
do
you-
not accept being represented by anybody. Again, I present myself. I am beneficiary. I am sovereign. I am an American national, a non-US citizen American national by way of America Samoa, like I had mentioned earlier. I reserve my rights and I do not need to be represented by anybody.
All right, the time for trial expiration is 8/9/24.
Again, if you are practicing law from the bench and putting a plea in for me, I object to that. You cannot practice law from the bench.
Next court date will be,
We want to try for next Wednesday or even the week after that.
well, next Wednesday's a holiday, so the 18th, which is pretty.
he doesn't believe in jurisdiction. He doesn't even believe in the system. So how could anyone possibly trust him to show up if he's released? And honestly, you can't argue with that logic. If someone spent the entire hearing shouting, "You have no authority over me," why on earth would they come back voluntarily? But then his defense attorney tries to smooth things over, saying, "Well, Your Honor, he hasn't committed any violent crimes. He just views the law a little differently." A little differently? That's like calling a hurricane a light drizzle. This man isn't viewing